Chapter 10. Bill Sikes. When Oliver awoke in the morning, he was very surprised to find a new pair of shoes with strong thick soles at his bedside. His old shoes were removed. When they sat down to breakfast, the old man told the boy that he was going to Bill Sikes that night. Oliver got very frightened. "Don't be afraid, Oliver," said Fagin, fixing his eyes on Oliver. "You want to know what you're going to Bill's for, eh, my dear? Wait till Bill tells you then." "Take care, Oliver," said the old man, shaking his right hand before him in a warning manner. "He's a rough man and thinks nothing of blood when he gets angry. Whatever happens, say nothing, and do what he wants you to do." Fagin remained silent till night. "You may burn a candle," said Fagin, putting one upon the table. "And here's a book for you to read, till they come to fetch you." For some minutes Oliver was lost in thought. Then, with a heavy sigh, he took up the book and began to read. He read about dreadful crimes that made the blood run cold. The terrible descriptions were so real and vivid that the pages seemed to turn red with blood. The boy closed the book and thrust it from him. Falling upon his knees, he prayed heaven to spare him from such deeds. He still remained with his head buried in his hands when he heard a rustling noise. "What's that?" he cried, catching sight of a figure standing by the door. "Who is there?" "Me, only me," replied a tremulous voice. Oliver raised the candle and looked towards the door. It was Nancy. "Put down the light," said the girl, turning away her head. "It hurts my eyes." Oliver saw that she was very pale and gently inquired if she was ill. The girl threw herself into a chair with her back towards him. "Has anything happened?" asked Oliver. "Can I help you? I will if I can. I will indeed." She rocked herself to and from. "Nancy," cried Oliver, "what is it?" Drawing her chair close to the fire, she sat there for a little time without speaking, but at length she raised her head and looked round. "I don't know what comes over me sometimes," said she. "Now, Oliver, dear, are you ready?" "Am I to go with you?" asked Oliver. "Yes, I have come from Bill," replied the girl. "You are to go with me." "What for?" asked Oliver. "What for?" echoed the girl, gawking at Oliver. "Oh, for no harm." "I don't believe it," said Oliver, who watched her closely. "Have it your own way." Nancy paused. "I have saved you from being ill-used once, and I will again. I have promised that you will be quiet and silent. If you are not, you will only do harm to yourself and me too, and perhaps be my death. Remember this, and now give me your hand." She caught the hand which Oliver instinctively placed in hers, and blowing out the light drew him after her up the stairs. The door was opened quickly by someone in the darkness and was quickly closed when they passed out. A carriage was waiting for them. The girl pulled Oliver in with her. The driver wanted no directions, and they drove off in an instant. Soon the carriage stopped. For one brief moment, Oliver cast a hurried glance along the empty street, and he wanted to cry for help. But the girl's words were in his ear. While he hesitated, the opportunity was gone. He was already in the house, and the door was shut. "This way," said the girl, releasing her hold for the first time. "Bill?" "Hello, Nancy," replied Sikes, appearing at the head of the stairs with a candle. "So you've got the kid," said Sikes when they all reached the room, closing the door as he spoke. "Yes, here he is," replied Nancy. "Did he come quiet?" inquired Sikes. "Like a lamb," rejoined Nancy. "I'm glad to hear it," said Sikes, looking grimly at Oliver. "Come here and let me read you a lecture." "Now, first, do you know what this is?" inquired Sikes, taking up a pocket pistol which lay on the table. Oliver replied in the affirmative. "Well then, look here," continued Sikes. "This is powder. That here is a bullet." And Bill Sikes loaded the pistol. "Now it's loaded," said Mr. Sikes. "Yes, I see it is, sir," replied Oliver. "Well," said the robber, grasping Oliver's wrist and putting the barrel so close to his temple that they touched, "if you speak a word when you are out of doors with me, except when I speak to you, that bullet will be in your head. So if you make up your mind to speak, say your prayers first. Do you hear me? And now let's have some supper, and get a snooze before starting." It may be easily understood that Oliver had no great appetite that evening. He stretched himself in his clothes on a mattress upon the floor. For a long time Oliver lay awake, thinking that Nancy might whisper something. But the girl sat brooding over the fire without moving. Weary with watching and anxiety, he at length fell asleep. When he awoke, the table was covered with tea things, and Sikes was thrusting various articles into the pockets of his coat, which hung over the back of a chair. Nancy was preparing breakfast. It was not yet daylight, for the candle was still burning, and it was quite dark outside. A sharp rain, too, was beating against the window, and the sky looked black and cloudy. After breakfast, Bill Sikes exchanged a farewell with Nancy, took Oliver's hand, and led him away. Oliver turned for an instant when they reached the door, in the hope of meeting a look from the girl, but she sat perfectly motionless before the fire and didn't look at the boy.